All right, we should be live, guys. It is just me and Ricky tonight. Unfortunately, Becky and JC could not make it. They actually have lives. And so will this be an
What's
OG
that mean?
live stream?
I don't have a live?
Well,
Huh?
Ricky,
What's that mean? Why are you
come
coming
on
at me
now.
like that?
We both
Like
got the
we're just
Stannis
starting.
poster in the background. We're in the cult of like we do what we have to do for these streams. And we're into episode 4. Ricky, I feel like you should just take the reins. What you thought on the episode, as you know, you've seen the episodes for a while, and I guarantee you've been wanting to tell the world what you think. So, what did you think of episode 4? Just like your quick takeaways.
Well, first things first, it was just good to get some Trico references back. You know, Corlys and his 12 Valyrian soldiers fighting Lohar's remaining 18 million men. So I thought that was quite nice. No, but in all seriousness, I just had time to sit on this, and I think that kind of changed the way I saw some parts, except for the ending, and we'll get into it. I think the ending is still very questionable. But I had time to really process what I've seen, and like I've watched this like a month ago, and now just last night I rewatched it, and I was like, okay, well, I kind of settled certain things. But yeah, we'll talk about Daeron the Undaring in a few minutes, I think. So I'll let you go first. Let it flow through you, Grease. What are your thoughts on episode 4 of House of the Dragon season 3?
Okay, let me preference this. If you've never read Fire and Blood or you don't care about Fire and Blood, the Daeron stuff might not bother you in this episode. So let's just preference that right away. There is a bias that I am a book fan. And with that out of the way, what are we doing? Why is Daeron killing an innocent man in the first episode that he's introduced in? He's the only character in Fire and Blood you can say as like a heroic character. He's literally the hero archetype. We have all this restraint on Rhaenyra and Alicent doing anything bad, and in the first episode, I just don't even know what to say. Like this episode, like outside of that moment, wasn't the worst. Like there's definitely some big conveniences, and there's some plot things that I'm like, okay, if we just look over that, fine. But what have they done to my boy with Daeron? I mean, we've been waiting how many seasons? At this point, I would have rather Daeron not been in the show. Like,
well, it is an odd choice. It is an odd choice to go out of your way to frame it like this, right? Because you've made the conscious decision to not include Honeywine, and therefore already there's like a huge thing that's missing from Daeron's character now. Him killing. I didn't really buy that whole concept of you know, them bringing Hugh's wife's brother back at the very end and being like, well, we turned we was just joking. We were actually about to kill this guy. It's like that whole thing is like, I think I have more of a problem with that just by itself than them doing their own original thing with Daeron. Still, you know, you would have to go out of your way to frame it like this. I feel like this is very, very much House of the Dragon's own OC kind of thing.
It's the classic, Ryan Condal says this is a faithful book adaptation, and then do the exact opposite of the character. The exact opposite. You could not have gone
the Undaring.
Dude, what are we doing?
Daeron killed off JC and Becky in the stream as a true character assassination.
The Becky was not here to see the crash out, and JC, I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, like, this is the one character I was like really looking forward to in this season. Like, how are they going to introduce him? And thank you for the super chat, Hurricane. Appreciate it. I don't understand it. I don't understand why you go that route with the character. Like
I think it's very predictable, right? They left out Honeywine. They have to give him some obstacle that he has to overcome, and then they thought, well, why not make that obstacle Ormond himself, and then later on he'll overcome him over the course over the next episode, which by the way I've not seen. So I think it is very predictable where this is going, right? This is like
yeah.
um well, he's the good one, and then some people will rally around him, and I don't know. Well, he's very sensitive to odors, so they'll just throw in Ulf.
Okay,
They
but
just
my
drop
thing
off
is,
Ulf, and then he collapses.
Ricky, there's no need to do that. We know there's a
Mm.
conflict coming between Rhaenyra's side of things and Ormond's side of things.
Mm.
You don't like the honey wine being removed. Yeah, sucks because that's Daeron's origin, but like you still have the same setup, right? Like Tessarion and Daeron, they're being held back, and there looks like there's a future battle coming. Oh, bam! Daeron has that big moment where like he's allowed to maybe shine a little bit, be brave, heroic, but yet you choose to portray the character in a way that's like, oh, he's being coerced into murdering some dude. Like, I just there's so many ways you could have written the character to be like, okay, he's nuanced and interesting. Besides that,
I think it's a very very much a TV thing. They've looked at it from a season perspective. They're like, okay, well, fuck, we don't actually have that much material just on or inside Tumbleton, so let's create this whole fake Daeron plot. Let's create like this very unnecessary, by the way, another sexual assault scene, very unnecessary. And then they were like, okay, we have 6 episodes, we have to create conflict, create drama, and we don't have Honeywine, so well, let's make this like some sort of inside fighting, so Daeron as a character can progress into being Daeron the Daring. It's like when in season 1 they left out all the parts that made Criston Cole the Kingmaker, and then they just proclaimed him Kingmaker, which it's like sometimes it just gets lost in the sauce while you're writing this for like TV and a season structure. But yeah, still definitely have to go out of your way to frame Daeron, who's like famously good kid, and then later on with like the sack of Bitterbridge and everything that adds the nuance to the character, but it's like objectively good. You would have to
yeah,
go out of your way to, but still, I think he's not going to turn into another villain. It's just that he has to overcome Ormond, and yeah.
it's just the fact that Ricky, it's like we have Alicent in this show, we have Rhaenyra in this show, and consistently the writers defend them from being able to do anything. And then your
Yeah, I
first
know.
introduction into literally the character that is the most heroic in the story, the first episode. It's not like, oh, we had this like season long thing where Daeron is being pushed to the edge by Ormond, or it just feels like, oh, the first episode we've got, and it's just
Yeah.
he murders a guy. Like,
Well, it's what I said, right? It's like there's always this attempt to be how could we turn this more interesting? How could we adapt the key beats and also along the way change and redirect what's in the text? And in this case, it's like, ooh, yeah, that's good. Let's play with the expectations here. Let's be like, well, they're expecting a good kid, and he is a good kid, but what if he kills an innocent man? Wow, how challenging. Wow, what a concept. It's like I can see those type of conversations being held. I don't know. It's an odd choice, but it's also, to be honest, it's a nothing burger of a choice because we know that he's not going to be Maegor's the second coming of Maegor down the
we don't
line.
know that with House of the
They'll just
Dragon.
throw
We
they'll
never
just
know
throw a bunch of
something.
cow shit. They'll just throw a bunch of cow shit from on top of like Caraxes, and then Ormond is gonna collapse from the odors, and then like Darren's gonna be like, oh woo, wow, now I'm gonna be I'm gonna be king, and he's gonna save the day in some capacity and turn against Ormond or make a choice that like will rally people behind it. It's like this very predictable thing. So it's like, all right, it's like, come on, whatever. I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt here because I really disagree with the decision to frame it that way. But it's a nothing burger in the long run. You just know it's not gonna have that much of an impact, especially given that Daeron is now properly introduced halfway through the second to last season. So just know it's not that big of an importance. He's not that much of an important character to this show. So
Which is
yeah,
insane because like Daeron's
I
opening
know,
episode, and he had almost nothing to do the entire episode. Like he basically has no lines the entire time besides "I'm gonna stand here," and it's like Daeron should be more of a character than maybe Ormond should if we're going off the source material. But
yeah.
they
stripped him of Honeywine and then they didn't replace it with something.
Well, they did
meaningful.
replace it with something.
Yeah, but it's not like they looked at it. I think they looked at it from what can he then overcome, and it is gay Jason Bateman that he has to overcome. Which, by the way, that was quite funny when he what's the name of the Footley? He tried not to look. He was like, but
my brother was looking right at it, dude. He was looking right down. My thing is just, okay, Ryan Condal, stop saying your show is an adaptation, and I won't be as critical when you make book changes, because as the more you call yourself an adaptation, the more I'm going to go, oh, you're not. Like, what you strayed about as far as you could. This is obviously your own, like, oh, I read the book, and I thought, hey, wouldn't it be a cool idea if Daeron had this whole thing with Ormond that's like not present in the book at all? It completely changes how you perceive Daeron. So I don't know. That's my spiel on Daeron, Ricky. Anything you want to add to it before we move on to something else?
Not really, because what's there to say? Like, Bold John has a weird hairstyle, and Tessarion looks great. So it's not much of a conversation there. And you just know where it's going. It's like he has to overcome Jason Bateman, and then everything's gonna go hoorah. It's whatever.
Yeah, fair. You know what? So this might be a good transition. Dre super chatted. Aegon crying over Sunfire was a good scene. Ricky, what are your thoughts on Aegon and Larys' plotline for this episode?
Kind of similar, not as badly, but kind of similar in that this is very much a TV thing where they now have him be at Rook's Rest, and there's an obstacle that he has to overcome over the course of the next few episodes. And yeah, I mean, everything that Tom Glencarney does is great. He's such a phenomenal actor, and I really like that scene. It's it's just that what's gonna happen there in the next few episodes. One thing that I want to mention is that I think the framing of the leaks, because for every episode there seems to be like the leaks are always right, but the framing of it is like crazy, because I remember, and this was weeks ago, when they leaked certain information, and they were like, well, Aegon is gonna hump Sunfire out of it was like people were buying into that. And then so just like a little heads up, when you do read the leaks, sometimes it's like framed in a way that's nuts.
I agree. I'm like very mixed on that plot line right now, because of course I love the actors, and I love both the characters. I just do think it's like a little weird that it's like, oh, Aegon and Larys have walked through the forest with no supplies, and they're both crippled and disabled. And
I thought that too, but there was a little what's it called? A little
carriage or whatever they
carriage. Yeah, there was one in the background, so they were just hopping off that, because I was like, What are they doing? Is Aegon just walking towards Rook's Rest?
So I wonder with that then, because that is definitely interesting. It does solve the problem. Is it the same one that they were in the last time we saw them?
That's what I thought
Or
too,
is it
but I don't know.
because
I think it's
if they just murked some
gotta
people
be.
and took their thing, I don't understand how that works or how that was off screen. But I guess that makes a lot more sense though. But
Yeah,
well, then
it was
I
in the
wonder.
background, right at the very
Yeah,
beginning. So it's like,
I know what you're talking about. So why didn't they just then go back from Sunfire to that and then ride up to Rook's Rest?
they were probably
Maybe
still
they
in
just
disguise mode, like, and having a carriage symbolizes, well, there's at least some sort of status going on.
yeah, that makes
I
sense.
think.
And there was also probably like a sigil on it or something from the people that were okay. That makes sense.
Yeah,
That checks out.
Trikey symbols.
Yes, that's true. I rescind my criticism of that. That makes more sense.
Yeah, same. Because I was very angry about that initially. I was like, what are they doing? Is he just walking up to the Rook's Rest after like laying in bed and being like a corpse for a couple of episodes? And no, at least they Ubered there.
Yes, 100%. Another question I have that I know chat has asked me about 3 billion times over the last week. So Aegon says that Sunfire is not dead. Ricky, any predictions? Given you haven't seen the next 4 episodes of where you think that's going, you're free to talk about it.
I just think, this is the thing. He will overcome. Like, there's gonna be some even more drama at Rook's Rest, and even more of Aegon not getting to act like a king, and then he does this big speech, and then Sunfire comes out of nowhere, and he's like, "Ooh, yeah!" It's like this whole thing. They've replaced Aegon not being in the show, which I think is a good decision because I love Tom Glencarney, with this little side story of how he comes back, and then they will all bend the knee there, and then everything's sunshine and rainbows.
I think his plotline is very hard to judge until we have the full picture. I think it's kind of similar to like Daemon. Like, for instance, me and you love Daemon for a lot of season 2, but then they didn't deliver for the whole season. So how you look back on it's very. I think that's kind of where we're at with Aegon right now, because I don't know, the Sunfire thing to me is quite weird. Like, apparently Sunfire is still alive, but in a very critical condition, you would assume. But like, these people didn't even know Sunfire was alive. It would appear. So like, how is Sunfire eating or drinking, or like in the book, there's a very specific reason as to how Sunfire survives. So I do wonder what they're going with on that, or even like how, if Sunfire is going to appear, we presume in the next few episodes or maybe close to the finale, whatever. Like, what prompts Sunfire to get this newfound strength or whatnot? Like, does it start getting fed or get some sort of care?
Yeah,
I have a lot of questions.
That's what I wonder too.
With that.
I wonder about that too, because he's very much done now. So it's just a couple more days of sleep gonna fix that, because I don't see them spending CGI money on someone going up and feeding it. And like those are the kind of things that they just expect you to kind of ignore. So I think he really, really will just come out of the blue and be like, "Well, I'm back," and like. What do you think about that whole concept of making Sunfire a tourist attraction?
I just think it's like very odd that because again, in the book, Sunfire's body is just not like left alone and nobody like cares. It's very like important. But I don't know. I really feel like I have to have the full context of what they're doing before I make a big judgment. But as of right now, I have a lot of questions. I will do an answer a super chat because this has been a very running theme that we talked about. Rook says, is there any explanation for the insane amount of grape in this season? Does someone in the writer's room need their hard drive checked? I mean, we're going on 3 episodes of the season now have had some amount of that. Anything you want to say on that, Ricky?
I think nothing tops Iron Rod just out of nowhere spawning in and being like this. It was so unnecessary. It's always unnecessary. My take on those types of scenes is that we just don't need them in fiction, and especially when it's used like this, it's like something that's supposed to drive the plot forward. It becomes even more stupid. I don't like those type of scenes, and I think yeah, it felt very much unnecessary in this one too, because that whole concept of, here's the obstacle that Daeron has to overcome, has its own story beats, and this one kind of starting that whole thing with Daeron is just, yeah, I'm not a fan. I don't know if anyone in the world is a fan. I don't know what's the fascination with those scenes.
I think you need to be very careful with how you implement stuff like that. Like, obviously, it's a very sensitive topic, but it just feels like, okay, the Alicent one was done for straight up a plot device, and or maybe to feel sympathy for Alicent. The Criston Cole one, I think it was episode 1, or with the Queen Hightower. I thought that was fine because it actually like makes sense. That's something that like happens in A Song of Ice and Fire. It's a normal topic of
In war,
war.
yeah.
You don't see anything, so like I think it's fine. But then this episode is like, okay, I mean, we did this all for basically Daeron to murder someone at the end of the episode. Like, it's just okay, and you already presented that idea in episode 1. You're just kind of repeating the same thing. So I don't think it's necessary. And like, I think it can be used to some extent. Like, okay, the spoilers for The Sopranos. There's a very, very, very awful scene in that show, but it has a big purpose for what it's telling in the story. And I think is handled pretty well. So I just think you have to be very cognizant of what you're using that for in your story, and does it make sense? Like, is it necessary? I guess. Danny, thank you for the super chat as well. And Danny says, somehow Sunfire returned. It may feel like that. Hopefully it doesn't, but I do feel like it's leaning that way right now, Ricky.
Yeah. Again, I think those two storylines, Tumbleton and Rook's Rest, are kind of predictable at this point. They'll overcome this, and then
And we'll see.
Just have to watch them overcome that over the course of the next 3 episodes.
Yes. Thank you guys for all the super chats. Nay says, let's be honest, the only characters who grape are the Greens. We get it. They're the bad guys in House of the Dragon. I think that's a fair point. It seems like the Greens have very much been made the bad guys, and Team Black, like, is not. So
there's not any nuance between both factions.
Agreed. Which is crazy, given Fire and Blood. It's like both sides are equally unlikable. That's why Ricky's Team Smallfolk.
Yes. Now I'm just Team Alan of Hall.
You know what? That's a great segue. Again, everywhere Alan goes, the plot is great. So, like, if we could just have Alan be the main character, can he get his own Rhaenyra episode where it just follows him? That'd be fantastic. Ricky, thoughts on Alan in the episode?
Yeah, I love those scenes with him and Corlys, and later on with Rhaenyra, it's like, we use cats. Nice reference. I like him. I like what they're doing to him. If this show would run for like a couple more seasons, we would get the dream Alan Velaryon, and then that would be nice setups. But really, really good.
Yeah. This is interesting because we're gonna go back to Daeron for a second, because I think this is a very interesting point. Barca says, never read a line from the book, and Daeron came across as a nice kid, and all of a sudden he is murdering someone. Man, what?
Yeah.
I mean,
this is the thing that we talked about. They're like, okay, so what if we show Daeron killing an innocent man in his introduction to fuck with expectations? And they're like, wow, what a great idea. That's a phenomenal idea. And it's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, like, okay, I'll say this. They could have done it, right? But you have to have your nuance in there. Like, for instance, let's say that our first introduction to Daeron had been some form of Battle of the Honey Wine. We don't need to see all of it. We just need to see Daeron shows up, whatever. And so we perceive him as being this hero, and maybe there is that nuance where like Daeron is fighting against Ormond, but eventually maybe some certain like you can allow the character to become nuanced, but you can't have this character where we start off and he murders someone. So like I really wonder, what the consensus is going to be on Daeron's depiction from both people that have never read the book, they're maybe just a casual audience, and then book fans. I can imagine book fans are probably going to be very upset by his depiction, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll see how it continues, because I think they very much do make him out to be not like he didn't enjoy it. It wasn't like slashing at a dude and being like wah. So it's like there's still, I think, an essence of Daeron in there.
Yeah, I totally agree. But going back to Alan, again, I really like Alan's scenes. I love the scene with his father, and Alan having to be this level-headed person who he knows now he's not being legitimized, and he has to somehow deal with being on the small council with Rhaenyra. This is some guy that's never been in this situation before. It's like Ned's situation, but on crack, because Ned, he's not well in he's not good at politics and all that stuff. Now place it in Alan, who's not good at politics, and he doesn't, know how to really deal with the the nobles, all that stuff. Really enjoy that. I thought one of the better scenes of the episode was actually him and Rhaenyra when they're over Viserys's miniature set of Valyria. That was a really good scene. I enjoyed that, just to give some positivity on the episode.
And also, I really like my MVP of this episode is actually Oath the White. I really love what they were doing with him in this episode, and they're setting up some stuff for later on quite nicely, I think. And I think apart from the obvious, he's funny, he drops like one-liners kind of thing, he really got to be a character in this episode, and it makes total sense to frame his later story in this way, because to him the pub is his world, and you're basically telling him that he can't be what he is. And it is a small thing, but it's like everything to him, because he was never anyone, and now he doesn't get to be anyone apart from this apart from war tactics. He's basically a pawn, and I thought that was really nicely delivered by the actor, and liked all of these little scenes. Did you see the dog in the background? Blood and Cheese's dog was in the background in the pub.
I did not see that. That's a good catch.
Nice continuity. I didn't catch it. I saw someone screenshotting it on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. So he's alive too. Good boy.
Hell yeah. I liked Ulf in this episode as well. I like just giving him more characterization, building him out to be this character that's, we can understand him. Like, I think they've done a very good job with the dragon seeds. For the most part, I wish we got more Adam. He's still missing in action. I want more Adam, but hopefully we'll see that in the future. But yeah, I liked him hanging out with the boys, trying to get some pardons for the boys. I like that. That was pretty cool. I like, it just reminds me of
allies.
He's got to help out his guys.
Allies.
I like that. I was like, okay, that's a real homie right there. He's paying for everybody's drinks. That's a real guy right there. He's like, okay, if you're in like a, maybe a lower income town, and all of a sudden one of you gets promoted, he comes back. He's like, don't worry, boys, I got you.
And that whole energy of him coming in and trying to be like cautious and trying to speak. He's like, carry on, thank you, carry on.
It's like, brothers, I got a dragon now.
Yeah. You just know he was like, yeah, no, don't worry, bro. I'll walk up to Rhaenyra, and this is all gonna be fine. I'll get you your castle, your holding or whatever, you hold fast, and everything. You're gonna be pardoned. Everything's great. And he walks up and he's like, hello, good evening. I am your humble servant, and I have a question. May I present this idea to you? It's like, it was very funny. I like that whole. I also like Hugh Hammer Not many scenes this episode, but I really like how they're setting up the can't go into specifics because we
Things in the
don't
future.
spoil things in the future. But I like Bob Gates. What?
Hey, don't you know Ulf's gonna get stabbed in
Gates.
that pub, man?
Yeah. And he's like, but it's my belly. Oh, but it's actually not. I really, really like that.
See, I liked Ulf. I don't like Rhaenyra. I don't like Rhaenyra as like, oh yeah, you're banned from going to the pub. I'm just like, Rhaenyra, what are we doing right now? Like, what do you like? I get it. Like, she's supposed to not like, look down on the small folk. But like, brother, he's not a dog. Like, like, come on now. I mean, and you're talking like the war's already over in the last episode. So what if the guy goes out and gets himself a drink? Okay, let the guy be. Or making Rhaenyra unlikable by her barring Ulf going to the pub.
Yeah, you see, this is finally the nuance that we always wanted from Rhaenyra.
She's becoming Rhaenyra the Cruel. You can't go get the boys.
Rhaenyra the Cruel. So, but on that end, what do you make of the Gold Cloaks raiding the small folk?
I think it makes sense given how they started. Daemon has always instilled that from episode 1. So I think that made perfect sense. They go a little over and beyond the orders that they were given, and Rhaenyra doesn't, clarify what should be done. So
very, very interesting thin line, I think now. Was that on Rhaenyra's orders, or is she gonna crash out in the next small council meeting and talking like that was way too much, way too hard, and so this is the fine line. So if that was coming from Rhaenyra, I think I really, really like it.
See, I don't think it's coming from Rhaenyra though, based on the way they framed it. Because they framed it as like Rhaenyra's like, okay, just scrub the walls, do what you got to do. Like, it would be different if she said, oh, find out who did it and get that information out. Like, it'd be very different in the context. I think it's more like, oh, season 1, Viserys has Daemon be, in charge of the Gold Cloaks, and then you see in the next like another scene in that episode, you're like, oh, you might have gone a little too far here, buddy. Like that's the way I think it'll probably be framed in the next episode, is more like, that's not what I ordered at all. Like, now you've turned the small folk against me type thing. That's my prediction. What do you think, Ricky?
I'm not sure right now. Because there was that talk of between Mysaria and Rhaenyra in the last episode where she was like, I could kill Daeron, and I could you also investigate who's loyal to the Hightowers? And I think that was also something where it's like that has violence involved in it. So I hope it's an order by Rhaenyra, but they could also come out and have her crash out over this being too hard or whatever.
Agreed. With somebody super chats, let me answer that real quick. What is your prediction for the resolution of the Rhaenyra and Corlys subplot? Will it be similar to the books? Ricky, go ahead and you answer that first. I got to think about that for a second.
I don't know. I don't think we'll reach like the proper Corlys endgame in this show. But they've added their own sort of conflict with the legitimizing thing, and so I think it's just like with everything else, they will hit the main beats, but also make it their own thing. Yeah, he's off fighting the Triarchy now.
The Triarchy, the land force now, apparently. They're raiding everywhere. They've taken over.
Yeah, it's just very threatening on land.
At this point, Rook, I've stopped predicting things in the show. Like, will it take some inspiration from the book? Maybe, but I think they might be just going their own route with those two characters and just showing the divide. And one thing I really hope Corlys isn't just sent to the abyss and we don't see him in the next 3 episodes because he's out fighting the Triarchy. I really hope they don't do that, because
there are shots in the trailer of him fighting at Tumbleton.
Oh, interesting. Well, as long as we get more Corlys and they make sense, I'm cool with it, because one of the better actors on the show, I would say as of right now, up there in like that top 5 characters of season 3 as well.
Definitely.
So give us more of him. I'll be happy.
Yeah, same. And we complained about this back when House of the Dragon was actually good, right?
Yep.
Like we want more Corlys, and now he's getting to do stuff, and I don't have any problems with him being involved at Tumbleton. I think it is funny that, you know, he's supposed to be this very old man by now. And he's like, oh, I have to do some fighting. I like his fucking trike he hate is so goddamn hard that he has to leave King's Landing with his 12 Velaryon soldiers and go out to fight them. He's like killing Lohar, like I know that was Alan, but still like crashing the trike at sea is like not enough. He even goes out of his way to fight them. Like the remaining 17 billion Lohar men, he still has to go out and fight them. So I think that's certified level of hating that, you know, it's very inspirational. You know,
Yeah.
Someone mentions the trike, he just has like this whole PTSD thing going off. And he's like, I have to crush them.
And it's hilarious because we spent no time with the Triarchy at all in season 1.
Yeah, apart from the crab feeder.
Yeah.
Remember that
like
whole
a one-off thing. Yeah, it was a one-off thing. Where it's like, okay,
grayscale crab feeder.
All the theories
for no reason.
Dude, that was such a fun time. There was all these theories about the crab feeder, and it went absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, it was just like Daemon coming out with Darth Maul's upper body, like upper body. It's like just coming out of the cave.
Good times in season 1. Yeah, that was like one of my biggest criticisms of season 1, though, was like the Velaryons were not handled well in the first season for the most part, which is crazy because they had brilliant actors for almost everybody in that house. So
yeah, Eve best.
You know. Yeah, but thank you, Rooks, for the super chat. Appreciate you guys as always. What else was I gonna say? Anything else? Oh no, you know what? I know what I was gonna say. Ricky, we talked about this a lot in last episode, so I think it's relevant to this episode. What are your thoughts on the new Master of Coin?
I love how he's just set up to be like completely getting destroyed by the small folk. Yeah. Like I will not accept that shit. Now that I say Bartimos Celtica Erasure will never sit well with me. Like hell no. Tormund Manderly is a pretender.
Hey, he already brought up taxes, so we already know where it's going.
That whole thing, Greens, Blacks, I don't give a fuck anymore, but like I will start my very own Bartimos Celtigar against Tormund Manderly campaign. Yeah. Not happy here. Not happy over here.
Yeah, 100% agreed. Ricky, anything else in the King's Landing? Oh yeah, we haven't talked about Alicent and Helaena this episode yet. What were your thoughts on those two characters that we've always had positive things to say about this season?
Those are characters in the hit series House of the Dragon on HBO. Well, I guess Maelor is somehow returned. So he's gonna be born in the season, I guess. So that those shots of Helaena giving birth were some people were even questioning if that is Helaena because her face was distorted from screaming. So that is Helaena, and she's gonna give birth to Maelor.
Hey George, we put Maelor in the show. Don't worry, don't be pissed at us. Just
don't worry, we have Maelor at home.
The episode.
It's like
don't forget about McDonald's in a cave. Don't worry about it, George.
Mom, can we have McDonald's today? It's like no, we have McDonald's at home.
Okay, but like, let's just be fair. Okay, Alicent's not worth talking about. She doesn't make any sense as a character. Her and Rhaenyra are friends now. She's given like the inside deets into Ormund, which is just like, who gives a fuck? Just send your dragons and just sit there, and eventually they'll be starved out because they're not getting any food, and then bam, they're dead. So yeah, Alicent doesn't matter in this fucking episode. Helaena, she's pregnant now. No build up to it at all. No foreshadowing. who even knows who the father is? Maybe it's Aemond, maybe it's Aegon. Who knows? Who
Ooh.
cares?
So I
She's
see
pregnant
the
now.
videos coming up. I see the videos on my timeline being like, what if Aemond Targaryen is the father of Maelor in House of the Dragon? None
Who
of it will
cares?
matter. None of it.
Like you can't just go, oh, Helena's pregnant now. That's it. That's it. There's been literally that's it. What? What do you mean she's pregnant now?
Okay, cool, but how about explaining how she is that powerful of a being? Like can you guys go into detail about that?
Daemon's come all the way back to King's Landing. He still doesn't care.
She astral projected herself into the mind of her son's killer. Like can we talk about that? No. It's like I love chickens and now I'm pregnant.
Hey, Ricky, you know what's gonna happen? Helaena is gonna transfer her powers to Maelor, and Maelor, he will now be the most powerful being in House of the Dragon. He's gonna be like, if you haven't seen Fantastic Four, he's gonna be the baby like in that movie. Okay, that's why Maelor's in the show now. He will be the person that's showing up in people's visions. Okay, that is what's gonna happen. Okay. Thank you for the super chat, Nay.
Yeah, brilliant.
Nay says, how did Helaena get pregnant? They established in season 2 that Aegon couldn't have kids anymore in a completely unrealistic way, which should have killed him. We'll have to see until episode 4 or 5 if they even explain this. But I mean, theoretically, it could be Aemon's. I don't. It just feels like they pulled something out of their ass because George had a crash out. That's what it feels like to me. But
what if it's? Oh, I got an idea for a theory video. What if it's like a Jesus kind of thing? A Jesus kind of thing. But she's the father is actually a three-eyed crow. And then the green men spawn in, and we have like 2 billion more scenes of like the.
So it's an Anakin situation. The Force got Shmi pregnant type situation.
Yes, exactly.
Counter theory: Daemon got Helaena pregnant in the vision that we saw in season 2.
Damn, that's good. That's good. Can we have more White Walkers, please? Maybe it's the White Walker.
We're seeing them this season. Okay. I will bet right now with chat. Okay, we will see the White Walkers one more time in this season or next season. We'll see them at least one more time.
Yeah, definitely.
And you'll know about it. Thank you for the super chat.
Dude, I'm so glad we cut Nettles so we could have conversations like this.
We cut Nettles so that Aegon could kiss people's shoes and shovel shit.
Yeah.
We did all this.
Thank you. Understandable. Have a nice day.
You know what? Since you brought up Nettles, hold the thought. We got another super chat from Rooks. Hold on. If Maelor is an infant, then how does he die? Like, okay, well, we've hit some spoilers, but like in the books, doesn't that throw a whole wrench in the whole Aegon succession stuff? This is how it's House of the Dragon, baby. We don't care about the source material.
Yeah, because I don't even think we'll reach that part. So Aegon the Third and all that is just out of the question. So they like, fuck it. It won't have ripple effects because we actually won't get that far. So the butterflies are,
Here's my prediction. I'll give you guys a prediction. I think Helaena dies in childbirth. And that would fulfill George's Helaena spoilers. Big spoilers. Okay. Helaena will die for nothing. That's my prediction.
So do you think, because George mentioned, there was a huge gripe for George. He was like, so Helaena doesn't have like the motivation to be like she's not really depressed in House of the Dragon, but she still kills. Spoilers? 1,
spoilers?
2, 3. But she still kills herself, and that was a huge gripe. He even put that.
He is of the night.
Yeah, he is of the night.
How State's got Do a time travel now.
Well, dude, that is an all timer.
Oh, don't worry. Dark Star will save the day in House of the Dragon. He didn't get to be in Game of Thrones, but he'll be in House of the Dragon. Don't you worry. He's the ultimate
for no reason.
character. Oh,
Where was I?
don't even know.
Yeah, that was one of George's main gripes. Was Helaena still kills herself? So I think she will kill herself. Maybe it's like it's kind of remix of what Lena has done. It's just like something like that, where she walks up to Dreamfire and is like, roast me.
Boy, that'd be bad.
Yeah. I mean, that would explain that shot in the trailer, right? Where she looks up. She's like super possessed and like Dracarys.
Yeah, but that's Helaena every other scene. Helena's just like every other scene.
There are beasts beneath the floor.
Don't worry though. Helaena will give us the Winds of Winter. It's all up here, okay? The three-eyed crows telling her all the things in George's head. So yeah. Any other closing thoughts on any of the King's Landing stuff that we didn't talk about?
Let me look it up.
Any notes you want to pivot to, Ricky?
I kind of hit it all. Oh well, now I'm
You're on
here.
the spot.
Hello,
Come
guys.
on, Ricky. Come on, Ricky.
No, not really. Let's move on to the Rhaena stuff. Because I thought in like this very hear me out. I thought this scene by itself, not thinking about Nettles, not thinking about what could have been, that was actually a really, really good scene. And good performance by both actors. I thought that was quite interesting.
I did as well. It was a little interesting how he got there. Caraxes is just like, I'm going rogue. I'm going to go find this random cave dragon thing. But okay, sure. Why not? Maybe Caraxes just knows that Rhaena's in trouble, and he's just like, let's go see this sheep stealer, okay? But yeah, I like the scene in isolation. I think the bigger picture, it's just like, okay, all right. And then the following scene where Daemon's just like, here's a head, Rhaenyra. Bam, killed him. Don't got to worry about it ever again. I'm just like, Daemon, really? Like, you don't think this is ever...
Daemon gave her a head.
Daemon did give her a head.
Just walked up there in the middle of a council meeting. He's like, here, I brought justice.
Full on impersonation. Come on.
10 years.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know. I just don't really buy the whole Daemon like thing. It's like, okay, wouldn't it just be better to just say, didn't find sheep stealer, my bad. Like eventually sheep stealer is going to show up again, and Daemon, you're going to look like an idiot. So it's like, I get what they're trying to do with it. I get what they're trying to do with it, but I'm like, yeah, they're trying to set up things to happen later. But I'm like, you change Nettles for this. It's just like, I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it in comparison.
I know.
You know,
like the practicality of it is, I can sympathize with that idea, but I think it's wrong.
Yep, agreed. Like, I don't have anything else to say on the Rhaena like Daemon plot. It's just like, I think it was well acted. It was a good scene in isolation, but it doesn't change anything I already think about the change itself.
Yeah.
And this would be a great moment to segue, because I always got to give my like little crash out on Ryan Condal every stream. And all I got to say is, if you keep trying to ask us predictions on the books, Ryan Condal straight up doesn't even know who sent Aegon and Viserys to Pentos. That's all I got to say. Like, don't expect anything from
Rhaenyra, right?
Was it Rhaenyra? In the
He
that's
said
what
he
Ryan
said
Condal thinks. It's not. It's
he
not
said
Rhaenyra.
I
It's
know, but
Jace.
he said
Yes.
it was
Yeah.
Rhaenyra, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is why Jace didn't have a character for all of season 2. But
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, continuing on. So we hit. I feel like okay. This is a good time to move to a plot line we haven't spent a lot of time with in this season, Ricky. What did you think about like the Harrenhal plot with Criston Cole, Alice, Gwaine?
How did Alice Rivers make Vega disappear? Right? Or are the implication that there's this like huge, gigantic, enormous fucking dragon flying around the Riverlands and no one notices that? Like, I think that's a magical thing, right? She made Vega disappear.
I have no like my interpretation from watching the show was that she healed Aemond off screen and sent him on his own little magical adventure. But
What?
I don't know with the show anymore. Like the show has
Mm.
baffled me with its writing that I don't predict things naturally anymore. Like so I guess there's two ways you interpret this. Is like, okay, Aemond's still recovering off screen. But then like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like what you mentioned is like, okay, well why is Vhagar just roaming the land? Like where's Vhagar at? You know? Now, if you want to use some book stuff, there's a possibility that Alice had a dragon. So
Don't use book stuff.
hey, I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, Ricky. I'm trying to defend them, okay? But let me be positive for 2 seconds, okay? The comments call me a hater enough. Yeah, I have a lot of questions about that. Yeah, having a whole episode without Aemond is a little interesting.
2 in a row.
Yeah, we don't see any of Alice and Aemond at all, like developing the relationship or whatnot. So maybe it's like a Maegor situation where Maegor was just in a coma. So maybe Aemond's in that similar situation. I guess to be determined on that, Ricky.
Yeah, in general, they now make Criston Cole and his men fight like, do some Vietnam kind of shit. So I think that's what we're in for. You think Boris Baratheon is going to join anytime soon?
No, given their unwillingness to like show multiple armies and stuff like that, I doubt it. Like I doubt will play a role in this season. Like
because they mentioned him in this episode, and I don't know if that was a built-in excuse for them not to go that route, or if that means, well, there's a mention of Boros and then he joins in.
I think what they're going for is just they're trying to make Ormond feel very isolated. Like Aemon's not coming to help him. Boris. I think that's more what they were going for. But I could be wrong, right? They could be doing something, or at least like maybe continuity-wise, they're trying to address, oh, we saw Aemond in season 1 go there, make an alliance. Where are the Baratheons and all of this? What are they doing? So it could just be a continuity thing as well. I wouldn't expect that just because of how much they've cut battle-wise. They're like, oh, we're going to add in now the Baratheons into this thing when like we've cut out most of the Riverland stuff and we've kind of glossed over the Reach stuff. I wouldn't then expect them to add in the Baratheon stuff in there as well. That's my read on it.
Yeah, makes sense. I would love for him to come back because I really like the actor. I interviewed him once on the channel, and one of my favorite interviews that I've ever done. Just such a great guy, and I thought in season 1 that scene he had was really, really good.
I mean, I feel like we talk about this all the time, Ricky. It's not the actors that are the problem with the show.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
never the actors. Like the actors on House of the Dragon, especially with how little a lot of these people, like I would say that just their popularity or notoriety, I guess, with people. Largely, a lot of people are not big budget actors, and they do fantastic. I just think the HBO casting team does a really great job. And sometimes when the writing is not there, it's the actors that have to pick up the pieces. So I always try to give them their credit. I I do want to ask you, Ricky, what did you think of specifically the Criston Cole and Gwaine scene when they had conquered Harrenhal, or at least just walked in, and they're at like the little, I guess, council table is what you want to call it, dinner table, whatever you want to say. Yeah. Thoughts on that, Ricky?
Yeah, I mean, Cole is a big. It's always hit or miss with Cole. There's this feel like he is like Fabian Franco is the most underused actor in House of the Dragon, and he's very capable of delivering those certain like bleak dialogue lines very, very well. And I think now he's centered to be exactly that, like a device or like a tool where the fancy writing can be said by a phenomenal actor in a depressing setting. It's kind of how they use Cole for the last couple of episodes. So a very bleak, very dark outlook on the world, and it's the fancy dialogue, the theater dialogue is used whenever he's there, and that's what this is now. And then no spoilers, but we know where we will end up in the season, and it looks like this will be a direct response to what they're now setting out to do.
Yeah, I will say I liked that they called back to like his background. Criston Cole isn't this high lord and all that stuff. So, I do like that.
So we joked about this so much on the podcast that I did with my mates George and Josh. We always talked about in season 1. Whenever Fabian Franco's Criston Cole was on screen, he was like, "I am the son of the steward to the Lord of Blackhaven." Like every scene was like that, and I just know that George watching this is gonna have a whole crash out, because we joked so much about it. It's like this thing where they constantly had to remind you, like the more casual audience, like, well, this is who he is. This is where we were. This is where we left off with the character. So we had like quazillion scenes of Criston Cole talking about him being the son to the steward of the Lord of Blackhaven, loyal to House Daeron. It's like there are like 5 different scenes of him saying that. So I thought that was quite funny. But yeah, I like that it's so character centered that he gets to talk about his background.
Yeah. It's more like been largely glossed over, I feel like since season 1, because a lot of that was early, like the first 5 episodes of season 1, which you're referencing too, right?
Yeah, and then whenever House of the Dragon does stuff like that now, where they like allude to things, it's solely for the characters to remind the audience what their background is. So when Corlys says, what did he? No, it wasn't Corlys. It was Shirakulohar and Thailand. So Shirakulohar was like, "Let's burn High Tide," and then Thailand is like, "Corlys's seat." So it's like whenever we do get like stuff that mentions their setting or like their background, it's to remind the audience, very much telling them to what it is. So yeah.
I don't know. I liked the contrast between Gwaine and Criston. I like that continued development of those 2 characters.
Yeah.
I just do find it like weird. That's like, okay, I feel like it would be better if we actually have Aemon to be part of this plot. But I don't know. Again, I can't judge it yet because I need to see what they do with this plot line moving forward. But as of right now, it just kind of feels very aimless. It feels very like, okay, we've spent 4 episodes getting to Harrenhal. We've gotten to Harrenhal. Now we're going to do like this Vietnam-esque war where we're going to try and take on the Riverlands by using very guerrilla warfare tactics, which they've already inflated the Riverlands numbers. Apparently they have 30,000 men, which is just crazy. The Riverlands don't have 30,000 men. Sorry. That just doesn't make sense. But even with the Winter Wolves and the Freys, sorry, that doesn't add up. That's more than Robb Stark had, and he had all of the power of the North and the Riverlands, but whatever. So So we'll see. I do like maybe this conflict that may be brewing between Gwaine and Criston Cole of what to do in the coming war. And especially with Criston Cole, it seems like a kind of a suicide mission right now.
Yeah, it's depression for depression's sake. There's no further development going on. This is like we are set in that regard with Kristen, and we know that Gwaine is gonna have more of a part later on because there are shots of him at Tumbleton.
Yeah, which is just kind of just setting the scene for like obviously there probably is going to be a conflict between the two characters that has been kind of building throughout, even going back to season 2. So let's have to see where that goes.
That whole scene of him threatening Criston Cole at the camp, like the hand of the king with his swords. Like everyone was raving about how great of a monologue that was by Criston, and I was like, holy shit, he is threatening the hand of the king in front of the Hightower hosts. It's like, what is going on here? So yeah, there's a lot of conflict, and I don't know, somehow Gwaine will just not be joining
Ricky,
the butchering.
You gotta stop thinking about it. You gotta stop thinking about it. The more you think about it, you go, wait, Tumbleton is housing 15,000 Hightower soldiers? Don't know about that one, Chief. Tumbleton is not that big from what we've been shown on the show. Likely it would be they would have tents outside of the walls, and then the dragons would come and strafe from them and kill them. But besides the point, let's see. Anything else we should? Any other predictions?
What do you think about?
Go ahead, Ricky.
What did you think about Ormund crashing out?
I'll be honest. I just don't like Ormund as a character. I don't know what I don't know how to describe it. It just feels like he's just like this very pretentious, kind of just an asshole character that is just like, oh, okay. I don't know. It just feels like we're doing Ramsay again, kind of. So I don't know. I don't love Ormond's character. Like I like very nuanced and complex characters. Like kind of like Otto Hightower is the perfect example. Ormond's just kind of a dick. I don't know how else to put it. I don't know. I didn't find much interesting about his character. What do you think, Ricky?
On the character?
Yes, on the character of Ormond, or like the crash out, whatever you want to
say. I think it's fine. It's as I said in the beginning of the stream, it's like this obstacle that Daeron has to overcome is it's just fine. I think the actor is really good. But it's not that big of a deal, because he'll be overcome. As I said, they'll just throw off the white in the mix, and he's gonna reek really bad. He's just gonna collapse and like some.
Okay, but Ricky, this is a great point because Matthew brought this up earlier. He said, "Oh, Ormond hates all these smells, but yet he's fine standing right next to a burnt to a crisp corpse."
Well, he's to be fair, he's probably like he has psychopathic tendencies, and he likes that odor. I guess.
Yeah, he's got some kinks. That's all I gotta say. He's a weird guy.
Yeah.
I just don't have much to talk about that plot line because every time I think about that plot line, I'm like, this is what we substituted instead of just doing the Daeron the Daring plot. But whatever. I mean, okay.
Oh, what did you think about our return to the Vale, to the Eyrie? We saw the moon door.
You know what? I liked Jane Eyre in that scene a lot. I liked that scene. That was a good scene. I liked that conversation, the way the political maneuvering. It felt very like, okay, this is what House of the Dragon should be. So I think that's a very positive scene of the episode overall. What do you think, Ricky?
Yeah, lots of sass.
Yes,
really,
I like
really
sass.
good. And it looked just like I don't know how you felt, but it was like, oh shit, this looks like it looked in Game of Thrones. Obviously, like this was this
nice very good
little thing.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. That's something that's like it's not always the same. Obviously, House of the Dragon to Game of Thrones, the stuff doesn't look the exact same. Like for instance, they've changed the throne, and I think the throne, I would say, looks better in House of the Dragon than it does Game of Thrones. Is that a hot take for you, Ricky?
Yeah.
Okay. Neither one is very accurate to the book, but that's okay.
Yeah, because I think that would look goofy on screen, right?
Yes,
This
agreed.
gigantic ass seat.
Agreed,
Yeah.
100%. I think House of Dragon thus
Mm.
far has done the best version. We might see it on Night of the Seven Kingdoms at some point to see their interpretation of it, but I not for a while probably.
Mm.
So yeah, Ricky, any other notes that you took? Anything we have not necessarily talked about thus far? I feel like we got through a good portion of the stuff in the
Yeah, we
episode.
did. We did. Yeah, I think overall, I think this episode was just like fine. Like gripes with Daeron, but I see what they're trying to do over the course of the next couple of episodes, which is just like a nothing burger. If you expect Daeron to have this huge part, you're in for disappointment because he's so late. I think there
Yeah,
was there's got there would have had to be a point um where they were even thinking of whether or not they are going to implement their own. So the fact that we do have him now and so late is just like it is whatever. But I felt a lot of the slower paced scenes were great. Ulf was my MVP of the episodes. I also really enjoyed what they were doing with Alan. The Rhaena scene was good, and I didn't expect that. Ormond crashing out is just funny to me. And I liked half of Aegon in this episode too. But it was quite a nice little idea to make Sunfire a tourist attraction. Yeah, it's
yeah,
a decent. I don't know. It's like it's not the worst thing in the world. It's certainly not good.
yeah. I think that's fair. And somebody did bring up we're halfway through. So Danny brought up we're halfway through the season, which is
Hmm.
kind of crazy to think. It's kind
Yeah.
of flying by, and I feel like not a lot's actually happened. But um, yeah, Ricky. So now that we're through the episodes that you have seen,
Hmm.
what overall is your what have you taken away, or what are your general thoughts on the 4 episodes we have seen? I know you made like a spoiler-free video.
Hmm.
Overall, what do you think of the first half of the season?
It feels like two halves, right? It feels like two halves of seasons, and we're kind of only now getting to really dive into season three because, as we all know, the other first two episodes were supposed to be season two and or to close off season two. And it's weird because we're only getting started with like the main plots of this season, Tumbleton, Butcher's Ball, everything setting up with Ulf and Ulf and Hugh. So it is a weird thing being halfway through and not really being where we are, where you would think that we would be. It is very much hit or miss all throughout the season. Um, I think there are moments that I can enjoy and really, really, I mean it, really enjoy. I think, for example, Emma Darcy's scene with Jace's body is an all timer. Like I think that is an all time great scene. And then there are other things where it's just like stupid. It continues this journey of like trying to make something better and not doing so. There's these attempts. Uh, yeah, it's just I don't think it is offensively insanely bad. I don't think it's season 8 level of bad, but it is that season 6 level where it's just trying to grasp or hold on to things that you might enjoy, and then you're like, what are they doing now? Back then, all we did was like, we were waiting for Winds of Winter, as we still are now, which is kind of crazy. And we just made fun of a couple of things that we were like, you know, kind of, you know, it's just we're just trying to have fun. Is what I'm trying to say. Like
Yeah,
Preston Jacobs started doing his episode watches, and like we were watching those and just making fun of it. And then there were like 2 3 good scenes with the Hounds, or with like Beric Dondarrion there, or like Hodor hold the door reveal happened, and like oh, that's good. Why is Ramsay doing this? So
Yeah.
why is Euron acting like that? Oh, well, that's actually a really nice scene of Jamie and Edmure and at River Run in the tent. So I'm like in this level. I'm not like crashing out over it anymore. I think like after season 2, I just accepted that this is not going to be the way it's set out to be from the beginning. You know, it's not this huge, great show that it could have been. And that's why I also stopped reviewing the show. And I think that is something that kind of enables me to have like a level-headed approach where I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm making fun of the few things that I think are stupid, and trying to enjoy the little moments that we get. I don't
Ricky's a
think
better
this
man than
episode
me.
is offensively bad. I just think it's not um really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not as good of a man as Ricky. I still have hate for this show. I just like it's just so crazy going from season 1 where it's like I would definitely could have considered myself a fanboy. Like I would defend the show, even the flaws. Like I'd recognize the flaws. I didn't rate any of the episodes. I don't think a 10 out of 10 for season 1. But like I could see the vision of just like, okay, we're not exactly fully faithful to the book, but I understand the changes for the most part.
Mm.
They were doing a very good job. And it's just when you get to like season 2, and there's a reason that a lot of us are so passionate about how that season ended, because it was the confirmation that the show no longer is following the book, even to some extent. And season 3 just feels the exact same. Like to me, the people that were saying, "Oh, the writer's strike affected season 2," just to me is just not true. The season 3 is a continuation of season 2. It's the exact same quality.
Yeah.
It hasn't massively improved because of the time off. For me personally, I know a lot of other people might be different on that because of there's a lot more battles. You know, there's more payoffs. To me, I'm even more negative than Ricky. Like I don't even. I'm around the season 6 level, but I'm even more negative on season 6 than most people are. I just think for the most part, most of the plot lines are not coherent when you think about them. Most of them are fairly underdeveloped through 4 episodes of the television show. You know, we're trying to develop an Aegon plot line, which is like he has barely any screen time throughout half the season. Criston Cole has been in basically 2 episodes, I would say, at this point. One of them, he's just marching. He's not even part of the episode. I just feel like we're in this weird spot, similar to season 6, where it's like, okay, if you just turn your brain off sometimes, oh, there's some good scenes here and there. Like we talked about in this stream, there's some good scenes in isolation. But the overall narrative just falls so flat when you think about anything going on. It's the same thing of season 6. If you think about Jon Snow's storyline throughout the season.
Yeah. His whole campaign.
Yeah. It's like
we spent a couple of episodes of him campaigning for the North to remember, and they're like, no, we don't remember. And then they just spawn in, and like there's this thing with Littlefinger, and then like it was this huge army that he somehow has gotten through Moat Caelan in a way that just doesn't make sense. And then the army is approaching, and like you're not supposed to think about that. You're spot on there. Yeah.
It's the same things, right? Like, don't think about, okay, Ormond, in the last episode, he's marching on, apparently he's supposed to go back to Old Town, but he ends up at Tumbleton. There's nobody that like scouts or sees this. Like it's the same idea of just, okay, don't think about the armies. Don't think about, okay, if you're on a map of Westeros, how are all these things happening? Right? Like where are actually the Riverlands army? What has happened with the Lannister army? Like I had to explain all of this to my dad because he had no idea what was happening on screen. And I'm trying to use the book to justify something that the show is not even following anymore. It's like, that's where I sit with the narrative. Is just, there are things you can definitely enjoy from it. Like the spectacle is obviously usually pretty good. It's visually appealing. The actors give everything they have for the most part. It's just the character writing, the plot to me that just falls flat consistently from episode to episode to episode. And when you're basing your story basically around 3 characters, Alicent, Rhaenyra, and Daemon, and for the most part, I don't enjoy any of them. You know, Rhaenyra has moments here and there, but for the most part, her character to me is just so underwhelming. I don't know. That's where I just sit with the first 4 episodes. It's just everything that I thought the show could have done to improve off of season 3 or season 2, it hasn't done.
But if you expected that, you're far off. It's just like the implications of season 2 were so bad that I just dropped any hope of it coming back. But I totally sympathize with that, because that is what a true fan would do, right? Still have this hope that something is gonna be worth the while, something is still coming, and like they are going to explain and retcon and frame it in a way where it could still hit those beats faithfully, might not even be faithfully, but at least well done. So I sympathize with you, but like after season 2, as I've mentioned, I went on a big hiatus. I think I've uploaded
it was just our live streams, really.
One video for Dunkin' Egg, and apart from that, I was gone. And it definitely has to do with like I was just fatigued after season 2. It was like,
I guess.
See,
you take the more like mature approach, and that's because of your old age, of course. You're like, let me take a step away from it. Whereas like I'm like, no, I don't want this to ever happen again. Okay, so I'm like, I do not want a Night of the Seven Kingdoms to end up like this show, and like it's my bias of okay, I once loved this show. Is there even a sliver of hope? That was my sliver of hope. Was like, okay, maybe there is that the writer's strike affected it. Maybe it is, even if I don't even believe that myself. But maybe there's like that sliver of myself that's like, okay, we're going to get the Battle of the Gullet. We're going to get King's Landing. We're going to get, this plot so far. Maybe they can bring us back in. And I don't know. I think that is why a lot of times I'm more passionate, I feel like.
Which is like, fair.
Being just more
disappointed. If you're so invested in a world, and you had like a first season that went out of its way to incorporate like little scenes between Otto Hightower and Maesters, and it's like this ambiguous setup for more like a very complex thing that it had a Song of Ice and Fire-ish feel to it.
Yeah.
Of course, there were moments that were like crazy, like Rhaenys bursting through the floor and Criston Cole butchering a guy at the wedding and stuff, but still it had this promise, and then this promise not materializing later on when it matters, because I feel like at the beginning that was solely set up. I totally sympathize with that. It's so similar to Game of Thrones, so similar. And you know what, another conversation that I think would be quite interesting is obviously I think for a lot of people, Fire and Blood is also not as near and dear to the heart as Feast for Crows or like a Storm of Swords, even Dance for some people. For me personally, Fire and Blood is not all of that, and like especially the Dance of the Dragons wasn't my favorite part in it. So that also adds to that whole thing. And I think for people who are really invested in the Dance of the Dragons, really invested into Fire and Blood, for them it's probably, I imagine, also quite disappointing to see that everyone sort of seems to be just okay with House of the Dragon going downhill, which I can sympathize with that as well.
Yes, I want to respond to that, Ricky, but I'm going to answer your chat real quick. Rook says the writers have never looked at a map of the Seven Kingdoms. The most basic logical issues can be easily avoided with 5 minutes of research. This is the thing that to me is the most infuriating, is that the Dance of the Dragons isn't that many pages. It's not that many pages in Fire and Blood. And even if you don't want to read the book, the wiki can help you out. Like just a basic wiki search of how events happen or like why things happen in the book. But yeah, let me piggyback off you there, Ricky. It's just, again, I love Fire and Blood more than most people do. So I have more investment of just, put this from a book reader's perspective. These are characters I've liked before the show ever came out. I have waited to see these characters on screen. Again, people think that I just hate the show to hate the show. Go back and watch my streams where I was streaming in my bedroom with nobody, like there wasn't that many people in the audience. Like I loved this show. I love the source material. And it's so infuriating watching a creator, Ryan Condal, try to lie to the book fans that this is a faithful adaptation when it is nowhere close. It's not even like remotely in the same ballpark. Because like Game of Thrones, even in like if you're a book reader, even their earlier seasons were not, outside of season 1, were not that faithful to the book. Like season 2 is just
look at the Battle of Blackwater. Different thing.
Whole different thing. But the difference is like the quality was still pretty darn good in those early seasons. Like House of the Dragon, I would say its hardest season, which was season 1, it's all of the setup. It's almost no payoff, all setup. All you having to make up all the things. And the fact that that's your best season when season 2 and 3 should have, again, we haven't seen all of season 3, but is really just payoff. It's just the war is happening. You have all these amazing plot twists, and it's just like they fumble it. It feels like every turn they have to add their own little twists to it to try and improvement, and most of the time it falls flat. That's my big spiel on it.
I'm with you there. I feel for you, man. It's like, you know, as a big Stannis fan, season 5 Game of Thrones was that to me, you know. Watching like the first, it is so similar actually. Like watching the first 4 episodes of season 5 and like having all these scenes with Stannis at Castle Black, and like it's this thing of, ooh, we're actually like spending more time with my favorite book character here. And then in the last 2 episodes, which, you know, there's a huge similarity to season 2 of House of the Dragon, they just went, no, Selyse is abandoning him. Everyone is abandoning him. Weather is really bad. And they took all the horses. And then he walks up to Winterfell for no reason. So I feel for you there. I totally get that.
The way I look at it is, imagine, okay, so let's just say a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, they just butcher it going forward for some reason.
Oh, man.
I know how you and Becky would be specifically. That's how I am with this show. I've always stated, like, this what to me was the perfect show to do after Game of Thrones, and it's just, I don't know. I feel like we've gotten a little off track, Ricky, but
it's still good to contextualize it, you know, because out of context, we might sound like, you know, two book snobs who just do like overly criticize the show for no reason, when, you know, we're fans who want it to be good, we want to root for it, and like but we're also not willing to just accept everything and look at the beautiful dragon. Oh wow, beautiful dragon, show good this beautiful dragon. Like there's like a level of appreciation for the source material, and we are kind of really protective of it naturally as fans.
Yeah, I mean, we're the minority, Ricky. Even in terms of A Song of Ice and Fire creators, let's just throw that out there. We are the extreme minority. Like, I haven't seen anyone as low on the show as we are. Now, I don't watch a ton of people's content.
I think that has to do with, as I said earlier, with Fire and Blood not really being all of that for a lot of these people as well. Because I remember when it came out, there was no, like, there was little nuggets, historical nuggets that we focused on, and we talked about them, and but there wasn't like this huge amazing moment for the community when that book came out. It was like this huge deal, really.
I mean, yeah, Ricky, I mean, the thing is, and this is the thing I find infuriating because I love Fire and Blood, but it very much feels like Game of Thrones, because people love A Song of Ice and Fire so much, people were a lot more critical of that show when it started to stray from the books more blatantly. Like season 5 is when it got very blatant. Obviously, in season 2, season 3, and season 4, you definitely started to feel it. Like you saw more of, like, Arya, for instance.
Ramsay.
Yes, like for instance, Arya's whole plot line in season 2 is vastly different than her book.
Yeah,
it's book 2. But it's just so weird to me because it's like, okay, House of the Dragon, blatantly, it's far. It's like around season 5, season 6 level of just we're not even following the story anymore. And it's just like, you can definitely tell that people don't have the same love of Fire and Blood because it's not that same vibe. People are much more lenient of like, let's just let House of the Dragon do whatever it's going to do, and I'm just not one of those people. Like, obviously, like the book is not perfect, obviously, of course, especially for adaptation. If you're going to do it, you have to make changes, you have to add in things, and our criticisms largely have come from when the show itself has fallen flat. Because once the show makes changes and it falls flat, then you go, wait, in the book, this happened this way. So why didn't we just adapt that?
Yeah, instead we could have had this. I'm fine with the approach of you changing it, but if you changing it is worse than what we got, why change it? That's a very valid point.
Yeah, like Viserys is the crux of the argument, right? Like if you're saying, we hate the show because it's not accurate to the books, well, Viserys in season 1 isn't accurate to the books, so should we not like him?
My favorite season out of anything Westeros television cinematic universe is season 4, and season 4 has huge moments that are nonsensical and stuff, but I don't care. Like, just as an entertaining like television show, that was what got me hooked. That was my introduction. That was when I started to really care about this world, wanted to know more of this world, and got into the books. And so I am very forgiving for changing and stuff. And season 4 is a prime example of that. It's like that whole my favorite episode of the entire show of Game of Thrones, season 4, episode 6, and it also has that nonsensical fucking Ramsay shirtless scene where Yara drives fucking sails all around.
Hey, Ricky, we don't use her Yara name. That's nonsense. We call her Asha.
But it's Asha. Yeah, okay.
Fuck you, the Yara name. Oh, it sounds like a Yara, and she's a pirate. So her name is Yara.
Yeah.
D&D. You're
damn. But yeah.
JC did bless us with his appearance. Truthfully, there's a lot of glazers out there. I appreciate you guys giving the real opinions and not just willing to sugarcoat the show for views and likes. I mean, come on, JC, you know us better than that. We know we're going to give our raw and honest opinions.
Yeah, but it's also not like I'm proud of doing that or something. No. Back when Game of Thrones really hit the coffin, like when it really went bad, I also didn't make because I used to have this fan page on Instagram, but I also didn't jump on the train and just trash the show all throughout. I just made fun of certain stuff. So I'm very protective in this very near and dear world escape place for me, and it has been for like more than we're approaching 15 years now, where this has been like an escape place for me. I'm very protective of that and how I engage with it, and I can't, like, naturally I can't not care and look at it from like a perspective of I would really like to say that, but I will sugarcoat it and be so. It's just I don't know, very weird thing. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but it's like I love this world so much. I can't not be real about it. It's just so close to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, think about it like this. So many people love A Night of the Seven Kingdoms season 1, and rightfully so. I still love House of the Dragon season 1 more than the first season of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. And A Night of the Seven Kingdoms season 1 is far more book accurate than season 1 of House of the Dragon is. And it's just that place of love. It's the place of like, okay, I have such a bias with House of the Dragon. I am the person that should love this show more than anybody because my channel is formed and like where I gain traction is from the show. So I don't know. It's a depressing thing. Like it's just why we talked so much in season 2, but I don't know. I feel like we're going in circles a little bit. So Ricky, I think we should probably close her out. What would you give rating wise of episode 4? I know you had a rating when you first saw the episodes, and now those have changed on second watching.
I think it's a 6. Like it's fine. It depends. how we continue with the Daeron character. Yeah, 5.5, 6-ish is my like rating, which goes in line with the other episodes. I think episode 3 is an exception. Still not a very like insanely good episode. I like the style. I like the sort of the concept. So yeah, I'll say a 6.
I think that's fair. We're going to continue the trend where I'm about a point behind you every episode. I don't know. I mean, okay, let's start with the dad rating because I know this has been asked a couple times in chat.
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
My dad gave it the same rating as last episode, so 7 out of 10. Somebody also asked, would he watch the show if I did? I have no idea because he found out about the show from me, obviously. So I don't know. But he definitely hasn't been that enthused by the last episode. So, he is a general audience member, no battles. So I don't know. But I will say for me, it's probably like a 5 out of 10. I think I would say it's probably my least favorite episode just because of what they've done to Daeron as a character. I also think some of the plots in this episode were like, okay, I don't really understand how we've gotten here or plot continuity, but there are some things in the episode that I like. But overall, I mean, I don't really know what to say. It's just kind of continuing off of what the season has been for me. Like my highest rated episode is like what was a 6.5 for last episode. It's just the show itself to me has not really done much for me personally outside of the scenes here and there. There are positives, but there's just a lot of negatives that I can't overlook. Waiting basically 3.5 seasons for Daeron, and this is being his first appearance, is just infuriating. It feels very much like he was never meant to be in the show, and they threw him in there because fans cried about it, and they gave us this. So that's where I kind of stand. Any closing thoughts, Ricky, before we end the stream?
Justice for Bartimos Celtigar.
the biggest crime of the episode. And you also, guys, you guys want to know why Ricky improved his rating? It's because, after the Triarchy stream, there was a mention of the Triarchy in this episode. So that had to give it a little boost.
Exactly. No, I really sat on it. I rewatched it. It was the only episode that I didn't rewatch because I had a very big reaction to the last scene. I was like, fuck this. And what are you doing? What are you doing with Daeron now? I rewatched it and I sat on it for a month. So I watched episode 4 like a month ago almost now. Yeah.
Agreed. Matthew, I also agree. I thought it would be worse based on just like the ending part. I think if the rest of the episode itself had been of lower quality, then yes, I would like if there wouldn't have been the Alan scene with Rhaenyra, if there hadn't been some of the stuff I like with like Corlys and Gwaine, or Alan and Corlys, then I probably would have been a lot more. Like I would have probably thrown this up there as like, oh yeah, I already think it's one of the worst episodes of House of the Dragon. I'll just throw that out there. I think it's up there is in the top 3 or 4 episodes that are bad. But yeah, I think that's a good place to stop it, Ricky. I think we got through most of the episode, talked about our thoughts.
Yeah.
It was a fun time. We went back to the OG classic style of me and you, like we used to do for season 2 until JC interrupted and he brought the bad House of the Dragon. As soon as he joined, the show went to shit.
Yeah, JC is responsible. So everyone blame go and tell him.
Yeah, blame him for House of the Dragon's failures. And we'll see you guys all, I guess, in the next live stream, the next video, and all that kind of stuff. So bye, guys. Hope you all enjoyed.